Hey y'all, I've been asked to share with you all a little bit of what I'm thinking in this time of just needing a minute. And I'm not necessarily sold on what to do, but something has been rattling around in the back of my head for a while. And so I guess I'm going to share that with y'all. Um, there's a passage in Ruth chapter 1 that I want to read, and I want to sort of begin this conversation by inviting you to sit with your bitterness. It's not something that we like to do or enjoy doing or really feel like we're able to do a lot, I think. We're always encouraged to rejoice in the Lord always, and stuff like that. Um, but I think that there's room for lament and there's room for being angry and being bitter, especially when we get to the Hebrew scriptures, which don't seem to have a problem being honest about their experiences, that sometimes life just sucks. And rather than trying to paint over that and to try to find a silver lining, sometimes we need to sit with our bitterness. And so I want to introduce you to a woman who taught me to sit with my bitterness, at least for a while. So Ruth chapter 1, just to give you a little bit of background. The star of the show here is the woman Naomi, and she and her husband had went to Moab to live for a while. And Elimelech was the guy's name. Naomi was his wife. They had sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They went to Moab and they remained there, but Elimelech died, and then her husband, and then her two sons, after they had taken wives from the Moabite women, they died too. And so we get this famous passage where Naomi decides that she's going to pick up her camp and leave. She's going to go back home, back to the town of Bethlehem. And her daughters-in-law start to come with her. And the daughters-in-law say, yes, we're going to go. We're going to be with you. And Naomi says to her daughters-in-law, go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant that you may find security, each of you in the house of your husband. And eventually, what happens is one of the daughters, Orpah, decides to go back. But Naomi has another one named Ruth, and Ruth decides that she's not going to go back. And so in verse 18, when Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, she didn't say anything else to her. So the two of them went on until they came to Bethlehem. When they came to Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women said, is this Naomi? And I can just envision like that scene from Beauty and the Beast where all the townsfolk are leaning out their windows talking about this woman who's walking through the streets, except instead of it being there's something peculiar about this girl named Belle, is this Naomi? What's going on here? Why is she back? Where are her husbands and her sons? And so Naomi says, don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi when the Lord has dealt harshly with me and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me? Now, in English, we miss something here, because Naomi's name means pleasant in Hebrew. So she's saying, don't call me pleasant, because I'm not pleasant anymore. Call me Mara. Mara means bitter. Call me bitter, because the Almighty has dealt bitterly with me. Why call me pleasant when the Lord has dealt harshly with me and the Almighty has brought calamity upon me? Naomi knows how to sit with her bitterness. Naomi knows that she has to be honest about who she is and how she's feeling in this situation. She's just lost her entire world. Her sons, her husband, all the security that she had as a woman in that day and age, being associated with a man and being the mother of sons was your security. When that's gone, you have nothing. And so when Naomi comes back, she tells them, I no longer have anything. I don't even have my name anymore. I'm someone else. I'm someone who is bitter. And I wonder how many of us need to sit with our bitterness, who need to be acknowledged that our plans and our hopes and our dreams have been dealt bitterly with, that the Almighty has dealt bitterly with us, that we have went away full and come back empty as well. I wonder how many of us need to acknowledge that our lives aren't good, that we need to take a moment and be honest with ourselves and with God and say, call me bitter, because God has dealt bitterly with me. Now, that's not the entire story of this book. As we know, Naomi has some tricks up her sleeve, and she won't be bitter for too much longer. But it requires work and effort for her to produce something that's not bitterness. And so I want to encourage you today to sit with your bitterness long enough for it to teach you something about who you are, and then sit with it long enough that you can turn bitterness into something else, that you can turn bitterness into hope. Because that's what the book of Ruth is about. It's about this woman named Naomi who is turning her bitterness into hope, and she's doing whatever she has to do to get there. This is a lesson for us today. We have situations in our lives, in our nation, that are cause for bitterness. We have to sit with that bitterness long enough to turn it into hope. That's not an easy process. I'm not suggesting that this is something that will happen overnight or is going to be something that is easily done. What I am saying is that we have this example in Scripture of a woman who does exactly that, and through whom God works to produce the line that leads to Jesus. So this is part of greatest commandment theology, in my opinion, that we have to be able to sit with our bitterness if we're going to love ourselves. And we have to be able to turn our bitterness into hope if we're going to love our neighbors. I hope that you'll join me and be able to do those things as we move forward.